beautiful day to do some work in the greenhouse. It's 50 degrees outside with a wind chill of 40 degrees, but it's 90 degrees here in the greenhouse. Things are growing. This is lettuce and some spinach, a couple onions. There's some bok choy growing back here. I've got a bucket full of my homemade seed starting mix here, it's ready to go. I have my tray set up. It's a 10-20 tray with six cell modular trays. Pause this for a second. Exhaust fan came on there, so I had to pause and turn that off so I could record this and you could hear what I'm saying. But have the modular trays set up. There's six cell module trays there. I have all my seeds here. I have labels to label them with, a number 2 pencil, and I have all my seed packets there ready to go. So I'll get started, I'll get things set up, and then I'll come back and record the actual planting of the seeds. We already have a number of plants growing this year. I have some bok choy, or not bok choy, that's broccoli. I have some onions that's growing there. I have some peppers growing here. There's bell, jalapeno, and banana peppers. I have some sweet potatoes, getting ready to produce slips for sweet potatoes. So I'll get this set up and then I'll be back to record what's happening here. Okay, I pre-moistened my potting mix here. This is homemade potting mix, which is finely sifted compost with some worm castings and perlite and some azomite for minerals. I'll check it in just a moment. It's soaking to make sure it's moist enough to get the seeds going. I made a list of all the tomatoes I want to plant and counted them, and it's a total of 18 of those. So I took out half of the module trays I had, and then I made labels for each one of them so that as I plant them, I will label them, and that way there won't be any mistake of what's in there. So the potting mix here, I'll check to see if it's moist enough. What is wanted is it wet enough, moist enough that it forms a ball when you group it together like that. It doesn't fall apart, but you can break it apart if you want to, but no water is dripping out of it. So that's a good moisture mix there, and it's ready to get started. So I'll get this table set up again and get started. Okay, I've got everything set up and I'm ready to get started. By the way, this potting table is a real handy folding potting table I bought from Sam's Club years ago, probably 4 years ago. And they still sell it, which is kind of surprising. But it's really handy here in the greenhouse because I can fold it and put it away when I'm not planting. First thing I'm going to do is take out all the tags that I have created so I can fill these modules. And then as I plant seeds, I'll put the label in to make sure they're all properly labeled. So we want to simply fill these modules. Completely fill them. And then pack them down. When I get done, I should have 18 modules here, ready to plant. If you're doing seed starting, I highly recommend making your own potting soil. If you buy what they call potting soil in the stores, you're really wasting money because what you're really buying is peat moss and bark fines and things like that from the forest. If you've got compost, or if you can even buy some good quality compost and mix it with some perlite and maybe some coconut coir or peat moss if you prefer, then you'll get a lot better mix than anything you'll buy in the store, and it'll cost you a fraction of the amount of money. It's much higher quality. Seeds do much better. They get started better and they grow better with that nutrients that's in that compost. There's virtually no nutrients in the seed starting mix that you buy in the store, and they may say on the bag that they've added fertilizer, but that's probably not the kind of fertilizer you want to have in your plants. Okay, now we got them filled. Now we pack them down to make sure that there's no air in there. I hope that the fan running here is not a distraction, but it's 90 degrees in here and I can't function without the fan on. So I left it on. It's on a low setting and hopefully not too noisy. It's so nice working here in the greenhouse and not having to put up with the 30-mile-an-hour wind gust that we have going outside right at the moment. Okay, I've got these back down, and you'll notice they're not completely full, but I'll show you in a few minutes why that is, that they're not completely full. Now we're going to start the seeds, and the first thing I need to do is get my list here and make sure that I get the right amount of them. I'm going to wait on the base tomato. Here's a yellow tomato. This is a new one that I'm going to try this year. Haven't had before. It's called Whitey's, Dr. Whitey's yellow tomato. And we love the big yellow tomatoes, so we're going to try this. I put 2 seeds in each tray to make sure that we get at least one start. And all I do now is I lay those on top of this soil that I've packed down in here. Find the proper tag for this one. And label it. This is a golden jubilee. There'll be one of those as well. This is a yellow cherry tomato called the Firefly. This is an absolutely wonderful tomato. If you've never grown them, you ought to try them. They are a very abundant producer, and the tomatoes are just absolutely delicious. You bite into them, they explode in your mouth. Labeling these is probably the most important part of this entire process. This is a red cherry tomato. I don't know how you pronounce that, but it's another delicious tomato we've been growing for years. Tomato seeds are some seeds that you can almost keep indefinitely. I think they found some in the tombs in Egypt and planted them and they came up. At least that's the joke we hear. I'm going to plant one eggplant. Last year I planted 2 and we had way too many eggplants. So this year we're going to cut back. These are a new hybrid tomato I'm growing this year for the first time. They're called Independence Day. They're supposed to be the earliest ripening tomatoes that there are. In this package, they're a hybrid. They only come with 10 seeds, so there aren't very many seeds. Don't have any to waste. And I'm going to plant 3 of these. Take a brief interruption here. Okay, the last one is the Amish paste tomato. There's going to be a lot of those. We love canning tomatoes, so these are going to go now into tin pots. The nice thing about the Amish paste tomatoes is that they're a determinate plant, so they don't need any. As a matter of fact, you can't remove the suckers or you destroy the plant's growth. But they all ripen at approximately the same time, so if you're doing canning of tomatoes, tomato paste or tomato juice, these are an excellent plant because you can pick them and can them all in one big batch or maybe a couple batches. Make sure I got them all. Okay. Put the rest of the seeds back in the packet because we don't need them. And then we label these. Now this tray is unique in that there's nothing in it but the Amish paste tomatoes. So they will all be, just have one label for all 6 of them. Now I'll show you why I never filled these rest of the way. What I do now is add a little more potting mix to the top of these, just enough to cover those seeds, because you don't want them more than a 1/4 inch deep. They're very small seeds. Now I've added a little soil to each one. I simply pat them down again to make sure the seeds are in good contact with the soil and that they're fully covered. You can probably hear the shutters on the exhaust fan and the intake vibrating there. That's from that 30-mile-an-hour gust out there, and they say it's going up to around 40 or 50 this afternoon. But it's very, very peaceful here in the greenhouse. There I have all of them now packed in and patted down. Seeds are all covered. They're all making good contact with the soil. The last thing to do now is to add a little water to these so that they are going to be moist enough. And then I'll put a cover on them, a humidity cover, and put them on the seed tray or seed mat to heat them up. And they'll be ready to start germinating in no time at all. All right. That should take care of watering them and making sure that they're ready to go. And we'll get a humidity dome here. Make sure the vents are closed on it. And that's ready to go onto the heat mat and getting ready to germinate. So that's a simple process of planting tomato seeds, getting them started. One of the most important things is the pre-moistening of the potting soil. And the second most important thing is to label every single one of them as you plant them. If you plant them and then decide to label them, you'll forget what is where. So it's very important to do it as you're planting them. That pretty much concludes this. I might take a short video afterwards to show them on the heat mat, but other than that, they're ready to plant. Okay, the seed tray is now on the heat mat. The heat mat thermostat is set to 80 degrees, which is necessary for nighttime temperatures because it gets down cool in here at night. But the seeds will do fine set at 80 degrees at night, and then however hot it gets during daytime. There'll be no time at all that these will be germinating. And this is the same process I did for starting peppers a couple weeks ago, and I started the onions back around the 1st of March. And earlier I had said these are bok choy up here, they're broccoli. But they're ready to go outside as soon as we're done with these freezes. It's getting down into the 20s at night. We can't put them out yet, but in another few days we will. So that concludes this video. Thanks for watching.